I was too close to that one. I have to. Shouldn't do that one live. They're called Midlake. Check them out. They're really good. Right. Worst DJ ever. Right, look. This chair's creaking. It's old. This chair, right? It's really old, right? And it's all broken. One arm's broken. And the reason I can't get rid of it is because Pickle sleeps on it in the day. She sort of spends the morning. She's got loads of little places, but she's sort of here, sort of 9 to 11:30. So that's why I've got a creaky chair with a broken arm. Oh, I've got a bad arm, and I'm still around. Right, I've got loads of questions. I've got bad eyesight as well, though, so if I have to look, I've got to read the questions. Could get glasses, couldn't I? It's light with me, though. I can see perfectly if it's bright enough. But if the light fails, like if I'm playing tennis and the light isn't great, I find it hard. I know what that means. Is that normal? Any opticians out there? Like I've got perfect eyesight if it's really bright all the time. Is that a thing? I might have more rods than cones or less, I don't know, bluffing. I know one's for sort of sharpness and light and one's for colour. Like some animals, they can't see colour but they can see shapes and stuff better than us. And in the dark. What's the best thing about being a famous comedian? What's the worst thing? On an average day, how many people recognise you or stop you for selfies? Do you ever have a whole day without being recognised? Well, where I live, where I walk around, no one really. They sort of see me all the time, and I walk fast as well. And I've got a little baseball cap on and sunglasses, and they see me too late. They just think, "Who's that tramp? Who's that tramp shuffling along?" Oh, that was Ricky Gervais. It's too late. When I go somewhere else where people obviously don't usually see me, I get stopped now and again. And when people know I'm going to be somewhere, like, I don't know, a red carpet or outside a gig. But no, I don't get... I mean, I suppose I get recognised all the time, but no one bothers me. As I say, I think I'm not that sort of... I don't know, I don't go around in a fast, open-top car. I shuffle along like a little homeless person. What's the best thing about being a famous comedian? Well, doing what I want, I suppose. I think the bigger you are, the more you can say what you want. I think we're coming out of it now, but there's been a good few years of ordinary people not being able to say what they want. And some, actors and comedians and artists get in trouble, but I suppose I'm at the stage where I can ignore it and still do and say what I want. So that's good. I mean, free speech is amazing anyway, isn't it? But to have such a platform, that's good. Travel, I like travelling. I can't get over the fact that I can sell out arenas around the world. That is the biggest buzz for me ever, I think. Because that's rare. I think the best thing about last tour was breaking the record at the Hollywood Bowl. So I'm very, very chuffed. I'm chuffed that I'm be able to do that, and I'm chuffed at the rarity of it. So yeah, that's the worst thing. What's the worst thing? Well, people are always after you, aren't they? I think comedians, I think people are threatened by comedians. I've always said this, like, politicians can stand up and say the most awful things and mean it, whereas a comedian says something and he doesn't mean it, and it always gets more grief. Like, people are more annoyed that you joke about terrible things than say terrible things and actually mean them. I don't know why that is. Maybe they're jealous that we have such a platform and we can say things that some people are scared. I don't know why, but I think that's the worst thing. Just people concerned all the time about what you've got to say. Yeah. But apart from that, it's all good. It's great. It's the best job in the world. So no complaints from me. And if I have got a complaint, I make a joke about it. So yeah, the days are gone now where I do a serious tweet or do a serious interview, and because it's all bad faith. It's horrible. I try not to do any interviews, particularly press now, because they've always got an angle. You're there for different reasons. I'm there to plug a thing. They're there to catch me out or show me up or cause controversy or clickbait. You know, even a great interview, sometimes the copy editor I do a controversial, headline, and it just sort of ruins it. So that's great having your own platform like this. So I want. I'm usually talking to dogs. I'm not sure I'm making the most of my global platform. Maybe I should be running for office. But no, I'm here answering fucking questions from dogs and cats. That's how I use my platform, on a shitty chair that's creaking with a frozen shoulder. But you know me, I don't complain. So it's great. But one day, yeah, it'll be lovely. When we're a $1 billion company, I'll do a Super Bowl ad. It'll still be just me in the bath swearing, but they'll bleep it. Or maybe I could make up words. I can go, "This is fucking brilliant, you cunts. C-U-N-D, you cunts. You'd be a right cunt not to fucking buy this drink, you twaps." So, and I don't think, what were they? They couldn't say anything about that, could they? Even those complaints. So I say fucking cunt, you fucking cunt. I was too close to that one. I have to, shouldn't do that one live. Well, newsreaders, when they try and say Jeremy Hunt, they say Jeremy Cunt. So, I'd love to do some TV ads one day, and we will. I'm sure we will. If you buy Dutch Barn. Buy Dutch Barn so I can afford to make a shitty advert on telly calling people fucking cunts. That's worth it, isn't it? You spend 30 quid. Actually, I think it's 25 at Waitrose. It's all an advert, isn't it? It's like the worst infomercial in the world. Right. Sue. Love the new Dutch Barn billboard. That was fun. How much have you enjoyed making the adverts, and how lovely was it to see Auntie? Well, I think I've answered that, and it was great to see Auntie. For those who don't know, Auntie is the dog in Afterlife, who I worked with for like 4 years. And now she was 13 this week, and now she's an old lady, and she's all grey, a bit slower, a bit deafer, but just as lovely. And we're waiting to fill an advert. I'll put it out, and then she just suddenly remembered, and she started licking me. She's lovely. All dogs are lovely. No Meat Pete. If you were to go on Celebrity Mastermind, what would your specialised subject be? Oh, my first thing, I think I might have answered something like this before. It's a tricky one. I mean, I know Celebrity Mastermind, they definitely make it easier. I've heard they even tell the people what books well, that might not be true, but it's easier than the real thing. And your specialised subject should be easy if you know it. I think something around David Bowie, maybe. It'd probably be music. It probably would be pop culture as opposed to anything academic. because although if you choose something really academic, I think they make the questions a little bit easier. If you choose something like faulty towers, I think they might make them a little bit harder, but there's much less to research. So, I see faulty towers would be, I wouldn't do bad on faulty towers. Yeah, faulty towers, Bowie. Yeah, it would be very specific. My favourite Bowie songs. Gunner. Right. Okay. Can you explain to me what Thomas Nagel's theory, what is it like to be a bat? I think it was an essay. Interesting fact here, Gunner, who's a dog, by the way. That was my first assignment when I started philosophy at university. As you know, I went there to do biology, and after a few weeks, I just thought, it's 40 hours a week, this is really tough, biology. Yeah, I love it, I still love it. But I just thought, I want to join a band. I don't want to study for 40 hours a week. You're joking. So I went along and did philosophy, and that was my first assignment. I had to do an essay on Nagel's essay, what it's like to be a bat. Right, okay. This might be bullshit, if I can remember it right. He's basically saying, if a human being gradually turned into a bat, they still wouldn't know what it was like to be a bat, because they hadn't had the lived experience of being born a bat and grow up a bat. All they would be able to experience was what it was like to what's the word? They'd have the experiences of being a bat then, but they wouldn't know what it was like to be a bat, to be born a bat, to be a real bat. I think it's always like on the same lines as Wittgenstein's lion. If a lion could speak English, you wouldn't be able to understand it, because its experience, it's being born a lion, and the things that they had to know and care about, they would mean nothing. The references wouldn't be the same. So that's it in a nutshell, I think. It's been a long time, since I was a bat. Anyway, I don't know what score I got. I think it must have been all right. I went, yeah, carry on. Louise, I love your old anecdotes about pissing in the sink and attempting. Do you think, like, Kofi Annan gets letters like this? I love your old anecdotes about pissing in the sink and attempting to make a suit out of a pair of curtains. True stories are the best. I think there was one about shelves. Yeah, there was. Do you still do things like that now in the house which make Jane laugh or shake her head? No, I don't try anything now. No. I either leave it or we get someone to fix it, or Jane fix it. But I can't do anything like that. Not to do with DIY or anything, plumbing, electrical, anything like that. I'm too lazy, too incompetent, too scared. So we get someone to fix those. I do darn my own socks. I quite like that. It's nice. If I've got a favourite sock and it's got one little hole in it, I'm not gonna throw two socks away because one's got a little hole in it. Darn it. Forget about it. There you go. Lovely new pair of socks. I still don't waste money. I do waste money. So yeah, the shelf story was, I wanted a shelf, right? I didn't understand. It was in our old flat. And so I got 3 bits of wood out of a skip and I just nailed them into a T shape, and then sort of thought I could prop it up against the wall. But of course, it just went like that, where there was no... So what I did was, I then put another nail one side, tied the string to it, pulled the string and tied it to another nail in the wall. So it was like some sort of fucking suspension bridge. And I did discover one thing, I don't know what it was, I must have seen it on a telly programme, that like lumps of wood out of the skip and bricks, they make lovely little shelves for like plants and stuff. I've made a few wood out of skip and brick shelves in my time. Nothing wrong with it. We got one of our sofas out of skip. It's fine. I don't do that anymore either now. If I see something in a skip, I leave it. I gotta leave that. Still got it. Keena, how's your frozen shoulder? Thanks for asking. And will you be doing gigs over the summer months? Yes. We'll try and see you in London. I will. I'm going to try and keep these going all the time, at least 1 or 2 a week. I'm loving it. My frozen shoulder, it's okay. It's not better. I've got better with it. Like, when it first happened, it's sort of really, really painful and sore. And I sort of take care of it, and I'm quite careful. And now I'm sleeping. For like 1 month, I couldn't sleep, or I couldn't go either side. But now I've got better at it. So it's still a bit frozen. But I just think I just cope with it now for 6 months until it just better, and I've forgotten I even had it. That's what happened last time. But thanks for asking. And yes, I'm doing like trying to do 2 a week. I'm even going out of town a little bit more. I did. Where did I do? Crawley, and I'm going to do one in I think Christchurch soon, and somewhere else as well. I might do Watford. Yeah, so I'm sort of. There'll still be sort of new material nights or work in progress. I've got a bit, you know, they'll soon be called work in progress. Once I've got like the 50, 60 minutes mark, you don't call it new material, you call it what you work on that material. But yeah, it's nearly there. Good question. Jenna, how are the new material nights progressing? Also, do you keep all the notes you use at them as a memory of how the show begins? Well, yeah, I start off... Okay, so that's a good question. So these are the notes from Armageddon, right? That's how many I got through. Loads, right? What's this? Fuck borders, Vikings, raping, private jets, praying in disasters, China, dying child. The usual stuff for comedy. Public toilet, pedo, Michael Jackson, Chinese. So they're all the sort of notes I went through, you know, and you go through those and you add to them and you hone them and you get them down to like, and these, right, these are the ones so far. I've got more so far with this one than my last one. So that's already all the stuff I've tried for this new one. So that's what happens. And then you sort of learn it. I sometimes have it on the thing in case I forget, but soon you don't look anymore, and soon you just do the hour. But I keep them just in case. Just in case. Sometimes I look back and I go, oh, that didn't make it in. I wonder why. Was it for time? Was it the wrong time? Did it not make sense? Did it not work in context? And sometimes you go back and you go, oh, that might work this time. And sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. So, yes, they're going great. Doris, would you prefer... I mean, this is a human. Would you prefer to have fingers as long as your legs or legs as long as your fingers? So, right, okay. So, legs as long as my fingers, so that's no legs at all, though, is it? That's just feet. That's just feet, though, isn't it? So the choice is, would I rather look like E.T. or fingers as long as legs? So, like, I mean, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? That would be horrible. I like some sort of fucking spider. Yard-long fingers. That would be fucking horrible. That one gives me the creeps more than just fucking feet for legs. Well, I mean, on the face of it, that's got to be the better one, isn't it? I'm totally normal, and I've got really long fingers. I mean, you can't hide them though, can you? Well, will I make a fist? It would be like, oh God. I mean, it would be tough. I could put my hands in my pockets if I had really long, deep pockets. So I'm just standing there with my hands in my pockets. And people go, oh, look, it's Ricky Gervais, he's just totally normal. And I go, can I shake your hand? And I pull out these fucking things and go, that would be horrible. Or, I've just feet where straight away I've just got feet where my hips are. Also, if I've just got feet, mine will be dragging on the floor. I'm not sure about but my definitely longer than my fingers. Just fucking flapping along. Oh, here comes fucking knobby penguin. I don't know why I'm naked. What do I wear? Speedos, I suppose. That's the only things that would fit me, wouldn't it? Just Speedos to cover my arse and balls, and I'll probably hold them up the floor. Tight Speedos, so my balls didn't drag on the floor, and then just feet. I have to choose fingers then, because I don't think people I think that people would feel sorry for me if I just flapping along in Speedos like a fat naked penguin. I don't want that. So I choose the scary thing. I think I just go around frightening people like that, going, just big fucking long fingers like that. I keep breaking them, wouldn't I? I just keep breaking them. What can I do? What can I hold on anything? I've got to choose fingers. Again, there's no way George Clooney is giving that question that much care and attention as I just did. Not a chance. Dutch barn. Right. What a load of bollocks. I've got a question for you. This is Bella. Bella's back. Bella's a dog, by the way. I'm going to be 10 years old this year. Happy birthday, Bella. Is it too late for me to learn the guitar? You idiot. Oh, can an old dog really learn new tricks? You don't want to... You'd chew it, wouldn't you? No, what can you learn? You don't need to learn anything, Bella. You're brilliant. You do your zoomies. You collect your sticks. Be careful with sticks, though, because we know a lovely dog who loves sticks, and they got a splinter, and they had to go and have a little operation. So be careful with sticks. Be careful when you throw sticks for dogs as well, because they can sort of catch them and throw them. Also, you've got to be careful. There's a lot of sharp things. You can get sort of fake sticks. That's what I do. That's what we used to do in Afterlife. We had little fake sticks made. They're sort of like heavy foam, so they can't hurt the dog. I always worry about a dog. We're going to throw sticks for a dog. Even your ball, you've got to be careful that it's not the size that they can choke on. That's where those strings are for, so you can pull it out. So be careful. So yeah, be careful with sticks, Bella. That's my advice. Right, that was the usual absolute bollocks. What did we learn there? We learned what it was like to be a bat. Dutch barn. I got loads of notes on shit. Starving children. Local pedo. Child addicted. Oh, that's a joke I didn't do. There's a joke I didn't do. That must be an early one from... That must be Armageddon. No, that might be Supernature. It's clean underwear. It was when I was little. My mum always used to say, wear clean underwear every day in case you get run over. So I think I used to say things like, so one, she was more embarrassed that I'd have dirty underwear than her child had been run over. Also, if I knew I was going to get run over, I wouldn't go out. It's not like, in case you get run over, what do you mean in case I get run over? I'm not fucking going out. What, I might get run over. Well, these underpants, I don't give a fuck about them. Also, if I got run over, the first thing I do is shit myself. Is that a bit? That might be a bit, mightn't it? Yeah, look, we workshopped a bit. Right, another absolute load of twaddle. Cheers, everyone. Be nice to animals. Bye, Dutch Barn. Dutch Barn. Tatty bye. Tatty bye.
They're supposedly due somewhere.
You wake up in a cave after an alien abduction. Why did they dump me in the cave after giving me the finger? Why not at least put me in the front garden? So they abduct me, stick their finger up my arse, right? Do tests, and then they go dump him in a fucking cave. No, take him all the way home after that. Who are these aliens? Mate, he's the thing that's going, right now we're going to put you back on Earth, right? Yeah. And I go, oh mate, you just stuck your big green finger up my arse. Take me to fucking Hampstead. You dirty bastard. Fucking hell.
I just don't...
Wake up in a cave after an alien abduction. You are with Gunnar and Andy, 2 dogs. You now are covered in a lot of fur. Why? Was that what? Because of some sort of alien experiment? So I'm furry, like a bubble snowman. Would you still wear clothes or just start walking around furry? I'd start walking around furry. Is it completely covered? Is everything covered? Do I look like a... Can't I wear pants though? Just anyway, can't I wear... So I wouldn't worry about clothes, just the pants or a little... Yeah. I go and Jane goes, you're naked. I go, yeah, but, oh yeah, and covered in fur. Yes, that's the main one, isn't it? I'm covered in fur. What happened? Abducted by an alien. What did they do? Shove their finger up my ass. Where have you been? Things just coming into my head, and I'm just rambling like a lunatic. There's something like that. Google it and tell me. Amazing. Well, what's been happening? First of all, thank you for all your well wishes and inquiries about my little incident. So, what happened was, when was it? What day was it? Wednesday night. About 1 a.m. at night, I'm asleep. Oh, and a pain in my sort of side woke me up. Like a shooting pain. Oh, I mean, that never happens. So, oh God, what was that? And it happened again. And my first thought was obviously liver cancer. Right? And in the middle of the night, that praise, you're convinced. Well, that is it. I've blown it, you know. And I got another pain. Oh God. And then I felt sick. And I went to throw up, but I couldn't. Which I thought, maybe it's stomach cancer, right? And then I couldn't be sick. There was nothing there. But the pain of the vomiting was incredible. It was an intensity. And you forget how bad vomiting is. You know what I mean? You just forget how awful. I mean, never mind the illness and thinking you're going to die. You can't breathe. And I think I'm going to choke. I think that I'm not going to get my breath back between it. And the spasm. Like the next day, even when I was over it, if I coughed, my ribs, I thought, oh, I've ripped my stomach lining here. So, right, all this is happening in my head as well. And then that happened a few times, and I started sweating and cold sweating. I thought, what is this? It's coronavirus. I've had that before. I called it off one of my nieces, or great nieces, one Christmas. They were, everyone got ill. And again, that happened in the middle of the night as well. So I sort of started recognising it. Oh, Jesus. That didn't stop me thinking at one point that it might have been radiation sickness. I just thought, well, it could be. You know what I mean? You never know. Someone might have been walking behind me with a bit of plutonium once. Right? But anyway, I was pretty sure after a couple of hours this was coronavirus. So I was trying to fight it then. And then it started, the other end started, which is a relief, really. Because I'd rather it come out that way than fire on my face. You know what I mean? Because diarrhea, you go, whatever. You go, it's not me. I can't, it's just happening. Right? Emptying, like just pulling the plug. But, oh, yeah, I think everything, I'd rather everything came out that way. And then I was still sort of wretched as well. And then nothing was coming, and then a bit of sort of brown stuff. I thought, is that bile? Or am I vomiting from my ass? Right? Because I know sort of too much but not enough. Because like I knew that a cyanide makes, reverse peristalsis from the bowel. So you die of vomiting your own. Right? So I thought, it was like I've had some cyanide. But anyway, in general, give me diarrhea over vomiting. Not even vomiting. Retching without the relief of sick. Is this interesting? Is this what you tuned in for? Now, has anyone talked about sick and shit as much in any broadcast ever? So anyway, it was at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock rock, and it's both ends, right? And I know a lot of people during coronavirus, they've told me that they were sitting on the toilet and throwing up in the bath. Now, because I've got a bit of cash, my bath is miles from the toilet, right? So I couldn't do that. So I was having to spin round. I was trying to time it. I was going, no, quick, sit down. The old Roxy Music song, Both Ends Burning, springs to mind. So anyway, then I couldn't even, water made me feel sick. I couldn't even rehydrate because water gave me the sort of urge to throw up and it hit my stomach. And then eventually, what worked, I had a Lemsip and a Gaviscon, is it Gaviscon? And it sort of worked for a while. I could lay down without wanting to be sick. If I moved, I wanted to be sick, but I could lay down. And it was all over by about 6 o'clock that morning. I still couldn't get up. I couldn't eat. So I think I got up I had half a banana for lunch in bed. And I think I eventually got up about 3 o'clock that afternoon. And it was all over. I still felt weak. I mean, I couldn't even face a beer till about 8 o'clock that night. So, yeah, that's the story. Unbelievable. Don't want that again. That's the other thing, you know it's going to happen again one day, don't you? You know it's going to, you know. Anyway, questions. Keena, do you get any anxiety before playing gigs at massive venues? Yes. Such as the States? If so, how do you deal with this? Well, if you mean the Hollywood Bowl, yes. And I don't usually. People say, do you get nervous for a gig? And I say, no. I'd never get nervous for a gig. I know what I'm doing. The warm-ups, I don't laugh or not, but that's what it's about, and you enjoy that. And then by the time you're playing arenas, you know it works, and it sort of works every night. I think the only time I've got nervous is like the Golden Globes, because it's live and there's 100 million people watching. So if you make one mistake, everyone sees it and you can't take it back. But I don't usually get nervous for a gig. But I did with the Hollywood Bowl, and I don't know whether it was the sense of occasion or it was the unknown or it was so big. The sound check, I walked out of the sound check and I went, because it's not just a big venue, it sort of goes on forever, and it goes into nature. There's no walls. It just sort of, the seats go on forever, and into the trees. It's like a natural, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like a valley, and they built this stage. And when I went out, the crowd were amazing, and it was you lose your nerves immediately. Actually, as soon as you walk out, you're at work, and you forget everything. It's just a gig then. But the weird thing about it was, all my fears they disappeared. I was thinking, what if they're not listening? Of course they were listening. Some of them have paid thousands of dollars. They're not going to go and not listen, right? So, but these play on your mind. What if it rains? It didn't. First of all, I said when the promoter said, I said, what about the echo? So big. Well, there's no echo because there's no walls. Oh yeah, of course. Science. So it was great immediately. But with the thing that it's built in, like an aircraft hangar, like the shape of like a sky dish, right? There's birds roosting. So I went out and there's the roar of the crowd, but all these birds were sort of woken up. So the crowd couldn't hear them, but I could hear. I was like playing a gig in an aviary. So it was quite sweet. It was quite like a Disney cartoon. So yeah, I don't usually get anxious, but I did there. How do you deal with it? You just got to go. It's what's the worst that can happen? You don't have to do it once. You know, you're not filming it. It's not like, you know, I've got to get everything perfect. You just play with it, and you're just going to work. Really, you just got to go. You're going to work, and you think, oh, what a privilege! This is a privilege. This is amazing. But the thing that gets me through it is they've paid money to see you. They want to like it. You know what I mean? 20,000 people don't buy a ticket to go there and go, this is rubbish. You know, they're your fans, really. If I walked out, you know, if, I don't know, One Direction were playing and I went out and said, can I do 20 minutes, lads? I might struggle. But they're all there to see me, so it couldn't be more conducive to being a brilliant gig. And it was amazing, and yeah, it is still surreal. So thanks to everyone who bought a ticket and everyone who tried, and yeah, it was an amazing night. And the promoter said you could do this again, and I went, when? And they went, do it again in 18 months. And I thought, I was very flattered, but I think I'd quite like it to be, there's part of me that goes, I could do even better, and it'd be amazing to play it twice. But I think there's something amazing about playing it once, if that makes sense. It makes it more special. That time I played the Hollywood Bowl. But we'll see. Sam, when you do your live shows in countries where English isn't their first language, do you have to adjust your sets at all? Do some jokes not land as well? Well, I only play countries where English is their second language, but they are fluent in it. So, and also, any country you play, they're only going if they speak English. They know I'm not doing it in their language. So even if wherever you play, if you play, a big country, you only need a few thousand people that are fluent in your language, and they're the only ones that go along. And also there are certain countries that there is no language barrier at all. Scandinavia, Benelux countries, cosmopolitan areas of most of Europe speaks English. English people are the lazy ones. No, I do make some. I probably do speak a bit clearer. Also, when I'm playing an overseas venue, I'm playing big venues because I'm only there one night. So I do play big venues. So you sort of speak clearer anyway. You speak to the back of the room and articulate a bit more. So that certainly helps. I talk about universal subjects. I'd never talk about what I watched on Channel 4 last night. I'd never talk about, British Big Brother. I talk about, universal subjects, Hitler, cancer, famine. Those dudes are evergreen. So I talk about universal subjects. The thing that sometimes catches you out, that even though they speak fluent English and I understand every word you say and your cultural references are universal, there was a thing in I think it was in Supernature where the line was it was then I realised I could myself, and in some countries it didn't get the laugh. And I thought, they don't know what that's a euphemism. They don't know, why would you yourself? They don't have that saying. So I had to change it to then I realised I'd made a terrible mistake. Right? So it's things like that you don't. And we use a lot of euphemism. We use a lot of sayings and euphemisms that we just take for granted. You can't have your cake and eat it. And people go, what do you mean you can't have your cake and eat it? Well, so you don't realise that those euphemisms are really sort of parochial in a way. But outside that, everything works everywhere, really. I mean, certainly 99% of it. But yeah, you do think about those things. Ricky, have you got a stand-up venue on your bucket list? Where is your dream place? I haven't, because I wouldn't really know about them till I've played them. There's certainly places I go, oh my God, that was magical. I definitely want to play there again. And I think, given that if they speak fluent English, the venue probably makes more of a difference than the country in many ways. When you're playing 10,000 people are the same, but there are certainly magical venues and magical cities like, Dublin. Dublin's always amazing. It's always one louder. I think the Olympia in Paris was great. Rock and roll venues are really good. Those rock and roll sort of places that are sort of old, established venues. Victorian theatres are really good. They're packed in and they're shaped right. It's perfect for comedy. But now arenas are getting better. I didn't like arenas at first, but now arenas are built better with better acoustics and the better shape and better sound. And with the big screens, it's almost more intimate because they're there, they're at the event, and they can look up and see your facial expressions that they couldn't traditionally. But But dream place. I like visiting places. I like finding out. So there's loads of places I haven't been. You know, what have I been to? I can't even work it out. A few % of the world. I heard. I think Afterlife certainly is big in South America. So I'd love to play somewhere like Argentina one day. It's just too far, isn't it? I've heard there's a new plane that goes to America in 50 minutes. I'll probably be before it's. I don't know though. Technology's moving along, isn't it? So there, I'll fly around. I'll go. If I can get to anywhere in the world in a couple of hours, I will play everywhere. If it's really safe, I want someone else to test it first. I forget the name of the bloke who's doing it, but let him test it. I want to know I want the stats. I want to see how. If they say this is safer than crossing the road, that is a particularly surreal thing to do. For a British stand-up comedian to play the Hollywood Bowl, let alone sell it out, is pretty amazing. But yes, I don't take any of this for granted. I wake up every day thinking I've got to do something here. Got to keep. You try and keep improving, keep interest in it, and you're grateful. No, I'm not one of those that thinks I can do anything and it just lasts forever. You have to work at it. In fact, in a way, it sort of gets harder because you're judged by your last thing. So the better your last thing is, the harder it is for you to beat it. So yeah, I do. I can't believe it. I mean, I always look back to my beginnings, really. I'm very, very grateful, and I know how lucky I am in a way, because there is an amount of luck. It could have happened to someone else. There's loads of people that are as good and work as hard, and it doesn't happen. Yeah, of course I did. Are you a vegan for health or political reasons? Well, neither. I think you mean ethical reasons. I'm a vegan because of ethical reasons. I think it is probably healthier in certain aspects, particularly for things like colon cancer and probably obesity and cholesterol, certainly. But you can be an unhealthy vegan. I'm living proof. And you can be a very healthy meat eater. So it's not that. No, it's ethical reasons. I couldn't sort of live with myself anymore. I tried to convince myself that it was okay being a vegetarian, but then I found out what has to happen for you to have eggs. Like they gas the baby male chicks or liquidise them just because they want. It's horrible. And I told myself that I only ate free range, and I found out that free range meant they have to have 2 feet instead of bolted in a cage. And then dairy, I just couldn't, and I don't go around lecturing people about it because I think it's a slow process, and I think people dig in if I started lecturing people, telling them they were bad. And also I think there is something to be said with, even if you're wrong, that vegetarianism isn't any more ethical than eating meat. I think it's a step in the right direction psychologically, because I think all you can do is be better than you were yesterday. That's all. Just change the world a little bit, and giving up meat does make a difference to the world. There's this stat that if you eat meat every day, if you give up 1 day a week, we could feed another 100 million people, because just the amount of water and grain it takes to feed a cow to be eaten by a certain amount of people is like ridiculous times the amount of the nutrition you can get from plant-based things, cutting down rainforests to feed cows and stuff. But, I don't want to, because I think that annoys people and it puts them off and it makes them feel bad. And I just think you've got to change. You've got to change for your own reasons. But yeah, I do it for ethical reasons as opposed to health. I mean, it wouldn't make sense, would it, to eat plant-based stuff for health and then drink a bottle of red wine. So no, I just want to go. Oh, I didn't any animals today. It's that, really. How does it feel knowing that Afterlife has helped so many people? Amazing. It is the best thing about it, and I never thought it would be. And I've never done anything, in entertainment. In fact, I've been belligerent. I've gone, art isn't to, change people's values or to preach. It's to entertain. And I still did that with Afterlife, and it was a happy coincidence that it did touch people in that way, which shows that if you do what's passionate, then you probably do make a difference anyway. You don't have to try, if you know what I mean. I mean, you can try not to harm anyone, but I just think if you do something that's genuinely interesting and entertaining and means something to you, then it will mean something to other people. But yeah, it feels... I mean, just the sheer amount of people that watched it. I've heard it's like 125 million now, which is crazy. And that figure is who watched the whole series. I know that some... I think it was like BBC iPlayer, when they say that, 12 million people watched this show, I looked at it, what they actually mean is that if it's like a 6-part thing, they mean that 2 million people watched each episode. So they go, that's 12. No, it isn't. That's 2 million people watched the whole episode. If I did that with Afterlife, what would that be? It'd be like 700 million people. No, 120 million people watched the whole show, which is staggering enough. Yeah, and that's what makes me worried about the next thing. What if the next thing I do only gets 50 million? I feel like a failure. I see these boy bands, right? So these poor boy bands, and they're all at 17, and they've had 3 number ones. And I know that when they get a number 2, their record company goes, "You bad boys, you give us something. You're getting no more money. There's some other kids here." So it's terrible. You mustn't think about those things. You mustn't think about those things. It's lovely. You go, "Oh, that's good," and then you mustn't think about it. But you do. How far have you got with a new series? Oh, Doris. Oh God. I mean, I've got 2 things on the go now that are almost at pilot stage. In fact, I just thought there's a 3rd thing as well, that might happen. But I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to do one of them. I don't know which one to do. I don't know whether to do both. They've both been sort of greenlit, if I want to do them, by Netflix. I can't tell you about it, but anyway, one's animation and I'm in one. But I've got the idea and the synopsis, and I've probably got a cobbled together a pilot script. But I'm enjoying stand-up too much. I would be happy to never do another show again. It's got to that stage. And not just because I think I can't beat Afterlife or whatever, but I don't know what there is to beat, full stop. But there is something to beat with stand-up. I can change it every night. I can go with the flow. I can see the world. I feel that I'm braver in stand-up than anything else I do as well. But I do love the other thing as well. I also feel guilty. I feel that I should be working in the day. You know what I mean? So, yeah. It's like you've got to write an essay and you think, I've got a few weeks yet. and it just gets closer. You go, oh, I've got to write an essay soon. That's why I never give myself deadlines, because that'll just stress me out. I'll do it when it happens, or not. And there might be another idea that comes along and beats them both, so I don't know.
So I'm going to mention that it happened not when I was, all over the media every day in Hollywood on talk shows, introducing movies, blah, 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 and actually sleeping with loads of women. It happened when I started to talk about Moderna, Pfizer, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin,
Right.
and exploitation and manipulation at the highest level. I know that for years, my promiscuity was exploitative. As a famous rich dude, sleeping around, having sex in bathrooms, sleeping with multiple people at once, using the fact that I had massive access to having sex with strangers and was doing it, that's pretty crazy and excessive. And there's no question that that is sinful, broken behaviour that hurts people. And I beg for forgiveness, and I'm given forgiveness, and I beg for salvation. But what happened in this weird liminal space is that behaviour got metastasised and reformed retrospectively into criminal conduct by competing media companies, working with groups like Logically and Crisp, working with legacy media companies, collaborating in an unprecedented way in order to go back to, for years and years, talk to people like, have you got a story about Russell Brand? What about that? Well, other people have bravely come forward. What if we shift that? What if we shift this a little bit? What if we tweak that? Now it goes from, instead of being a heel and a fool and greedy, and and in some aspects of the culture, a playboy, a womanizer, a gadabout, a player. It was reformed into, no, this guy's not like all those other famous womanizers that we know are out there, that sometimes have to put out injunctions, that sometimes have to pay lawyers a lot of money to keep stories quiet. No, you're in this different category here, all of a sudden, of the most appalling criminals known. All the while in my country now, there's this explosion that there are actual grooming gangs that are raping and abusing little girls and young women at an almost institutional and inconceivable level. And it appears that the media and government have repressed and ignored those stories for reasons that I find difficult to understand, but the sort of a loose way of describing it is multiculturalism. Now, in that, Michael Schellenberger, how is it that I as an individual say, hey, listen, it was wrong that I was a womanizer like that. I don't think I'm in a discrete category away from lots of other womanizers, so I hope you're going to get to their investigation sometime down the line. I've got a list of names of other people you might want to look at for womanizing, not that I'm a telltale.
Great point. I think you're afraid of making mistakes that are undoable, or that obviously you don't make mistakes like, I'm going to go sailing pissed because you go, oh, that was a mistake, I'm dead. But I think if you mean mistakes in art and trying stuff, I think that's exactly right. Like stand-up, every night I go out and I try something, you could say it's a mistake. It didn't get a laugh, so I have to change it. And it doesn't get a laugh. But it's odd to call them a mistake because it led to where you're not. If you're okay now and happy where you are, you wouldn't say you lived a life of mistakes, even though they might have been at the time, because they led to something else. Like if you want to get to the top of a ladder, you have to put your foot on the first rung. You don't go, oh, it's a mistake, I'm meant to be at the top. You go, no, yeah, you're on your way. So I think mistakes are exactly what you need to make at the time. You might not even know the mistakes at the time, and you do learn from them because you improve. So, and again, it depends on what type of mistake. If you've got a lot of money and you go, right, I'm going to make t-shirts. I've got 2 designs. You spend all your money on one design. You make 1 million of one and 1,000 of the other, and the ones that you've done 1,000 of, they sell out immediately, and the ones you've done 1 million of, you didn't sell one. Well, that's a big mistake because you've blown all your money. So I think it depends what you mean by the mistake. So, but yeah, to ease things out there and try stuff, I think that's exactly right. I don't know why particularly for me, like writing and doing stand-up, that's why you've got to try things out that might not work. You've got to take the silences or the groans. You're finding the funny. and it's immediate feedback. They tell you your mistake. It's evolution. Evolution. There's a very good example. All genetic mutations, they're a mistake, but they might be advantageous. You know, you just don't know. We'll see. If you survive, well, it wasn't a mistake, was it? Because you're still here.
But more importantly, what are we going to do about the morality? If indeed it is sinful and wrong to sleep around like that, what are we going to do about, like, firstly, the massive criminal, exploitative, evil grooming gangs? Let's get to that. The extraordinary number of people in politics that seem to have weird connections to or various circuits, groups and rings, whether that's around Epstein or people in Hollywood and Diddy, and that's not just people in Hollywood. What do we do about that? How do I personally handle it? And what does it tell us about our shifting culture, these tectonic plates that have moved around, and the people that get caught in the cogs when a culture suddenly decides, of course, I'm going to mention that it happened not when I was, all over the media every day in Hollywood on talk shows, introducing movies, blah, 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 and actually sleeping with loads of women. It happened when I started to talk about Moderna, Pfizer, Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, and exploitation and manipulation at the highest level.